Today is August 22nd, 2018. Exactly 3 years ago, on August 22nd, 2015, I went to my first ever cubing competition, which was Northern Colorado Summer 2015. Since then, I have been to 26 other competitions, and I have now reached every event completion officially. So, I decided to make this video because I just reached every event completion right before my 3-year anniversary, so I thought it would be the perfect timing to describe my journey to completing every event officially. So let's begin. So as I said, my first competition was Northern Colorado Summer 2015, and I did every event there, and that was a total of 7 events. And I got 3x3 single and average, I got 2x2 single and average, 4x4 single and average, and for OH, I only got a single because I couldn't get a full average because I didn't make the cutoff. I got a single because I got one of the 2 solves. One of them was a DNF, the other wasn't, but neither the success wasn't good enough to make the cutoff. I also got Pyramid single average, Skew single average, and I got a blind success, 3 blind success. Now for 3 blind, I would have gotten a success on my second attempt, but I reset the timer. I had done execution correctly and it would have been a success, but after I finished my execution, when I was stopping the timer, I accidentally reset it, so it was a DNF instead of being a 5:51, which was what the time was, but since I reset it, it was a DNF. Now this made me really angry and sad, and I was almost I almost didn't do my last attempt because I was really unmotivated, so I almost decided not to do my last attempt, but I'm glad I did. I decided to persevere and not give up, even though I should have been a success, but it wasn't. I just pushed on, and I did my last attempt, and I got a success. And it was a 536 success. And that success ended up getting me 3rd place in blind at the competition. So I had podiumed at my first competition, which is something that not a lot of people have done. So I got results in 7 different events, some of them only single, some of them single and average. But my next competition, which was SMA 2015, which was November 2015, I got a couple of new results that I didn't have before. I got a Megaming single and a 5x5 single, but for both of those, I barely made the time limit, but I didn't make the cutoff, so I only got a single. And for FMC, I got my first ever single. And after that, my next competition was Dallas Winter 2015, and there I got an OH average and an OH single. Before, at SMA 2015, I only had an OH single because the cutoff was 40 seconds there, but I got a 40.02, so I barely missed the cutoff. But then I was able to make the cutoff at Dallas Winter 2015, which was a month later in December, and I was able to get a complete average. So Dallas Winter 2015 added OH average, SMA 2015 added OH single. Now my next result that I added was Megaminx single. I mean, not Megaminx single, Megaminx average. And this was at OKC 2016, and I got a 302 Megaminx average, which is really bad at the time. I mean, really bad now, but it was it was okay at the time. So the cutoff was 230, but my PB was 229 at the time. So the only way I'd make the cutoff was getting at least almost overall PB. But I ended up getting an overall PB on the second solve with a 226, so I was able to complete my average. I really wanted a sub 3 average, but I got a DNF one of the solves, so I got a bad counting time. But I at least got a Megaminx average, and it got me 3rd at the competition, even though it was really bad. So after that, my next competition was Dallas Spring 2016. I didn't add anything there. And after that was Austin Summer 2016. Didn't add anything there. And then there was Houston Q Blast and Westlake. None of those added anything I didn't already have. But then after that was NATS 2016, where I added several things. I added 5x5 average because I wasn't expecting to make the cutoff, but I did really well on the first 2 solves, so I was able to make cutoff. And I did really well on the last 3 solves also, except on one of them. And then it got me a really good average. So I didn't have average before for 5x5, but now I did. And for 6x6, I only got single, not average. I was able to make the time limit, but I wasn't good enough for the cutoff. Mostly, I messed up badly on that solve, and I got a couple pops, and that's mostly why I didn't get a complete mean. 7x7, though, I did really well on the first solve, and it made the cutoff. And I finished my mean I was able to finish my mean, and that mean was also really good. It was overall PB at the time. Same thing with the 5x5 average. They were both overall PBs at the time. I was able to add 5x5 average and 7x7 average single, 6x6 single, and then I also added a couple other things. I was able to add square one single. I was almost able to add square one average, but I missed the cutoff by 0.05 because the cutoff was 40. I got 40.04. So I got square one single, almost average, and I got a multi-blind result. I got 2 out of 3. You need at least 50% for a result, and I got 2 out of 3, which is more than half. And it was 2. If it's 2 cubes, 1 out of 2 is DNF, but more you can get half. So I got over half, so I got a result in that. And in 4 blind, I was so close to getting a result, but on my first attempt, guess how much I was off by? Just a little R2. Now that little R2 really discouraged me. I was super angry. I was this close to a success, but I didn't get it. And I couldn't concentrate on my last 2 solves because that really made me angry, and I couldn't concentrate at all, thinking of how close I was. And that really discouraged me for quite a while, over a year in fact. So 5 blind I attempted, but I failed. I wasn't even that close to success. But 4 blind, oh, I could have gotten it then. It would have been so awesome, but I didn't get it. So I got many results at this competition, but I was really discouraged with the 4 blind DNF. But anyway, let's move on. So my next competition after that was OK Fall 2016, and here I added square one average. I didn't have the 4 because I barely missed cutoff, but I was able to make the cutoff easily. I got so much faster since Nats. I almost got a sub 20 average at this competition, and I got first by quite a bit in square one, by over 3 seconds, I think. At least around 3 seconds faster. So I added square one average, which I didn't have before. And then I went to a few more competitions. I went to Dallas Fall 2016, where I didn't add anything there. And then my next competition was Everything Bigger in Texas 2016. And I attempted 4 blind, but then I didn't get a success. On one of the attempts, I was kind of close. I was off by a few centers. I was pretty close, but I didn't get a success. I was still really mad about the 4 blind thing then, and it kind of made me, whenever I was doing my 4 blind attempt, I kept on thinking about that. I really wanted success, but I didn't get it, and I was still really mad over the 4 blind DNF. But anyway, I got a 6x6 average there, which I didn't have before, so that added one thing. And then after that, I went to some more competitions. None of them added a result. I went to Dallas Winter Variation 2017, College Station Qualifier 2017, Don't Mess with Texas 2017. And then my next competition was Nats 2017. And oh yeah, one thing I forgot was I got a clock single and average at U.S. Nationals 2016. I forgot to say that earlier, but I had that already. So that event I had also. Nats, I don't think I added anything new. By this point, middle of 2017, I had almost everything single and average. I had 2 through 7, and I had a blind single. I didn't have a blind mean though. We'll get to that in a little bit. And I got an FMC mean at Nationals 2016. That also, which I forgot to mention. And then I didn't have any feet results because feet was never at a Texas comp, and it wasn't at Nats either. I had Mega Minx, Pure Minx, Scube, Square One, all that. I was just missing big blind and feet and blind mean. So a week after Nats 2017 was Southern Championships 2017, and here I was going for a blind mean. I really wanted a blind mean. I never had one, so I went slowly. I went for safety solve so I could get a mean. In round 1 of blind, I was so close to a blind mean. I got success on my first 2 solve, and I tried going slowly on my last solve, but it was a DNF. And I was pretty discouraged about that, but I still had 2 more rounds, possibly. So in my second round, I got a PB on my first solve. I was happy about that. And then I decided now is the time to go for the mean. I got a good single. Now let's go for that mean. I went really slowly on the last 2. I went really slow on the second one, and even more slowly on the third one. I got a 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes throughout my mean. But I got a mean, even though it was really bad. It was 4 minutes, 25 seconds, but I had a mean, which I'd been wanting for a while. But I finally had it, so that was Another thing I added that I didn't have before. I went to a few more competitions after that. I didn't really add anything new because there wasn't really much to be added. Wake Up Late 2017 I went to. Then I went to Parody for Charity 2017. And then after this competition, the day after was another competition. So Parody for Charity 2017 was November 18th. The day after this, I had Texas Blind Showed on 2017. So at this competition, I decided to do four blind. I hadn't done attempted four blind in a while, so I decided, why not give it a go? Let's see what happens. And I wasn't really expecting for success. I was just gonna compete and see if I could, how well I could do. But I was not expecting this, but I actually got a success. It was a 22 minutes and 36-second success, which was overall PB. Now that was my third ever four blind success. The first one was in 2016, and the second was the night before. And I was really happy about this. The R2 DNF discouraged me for so long, but I could finally stop worrying about that. I had a four blind success, so I was really happy about that. I could finally stop getting this. I could finally stop stressing out over the four blind DNF that I got at NAS 2016. So after this, I realized I only need two more events for Silver Club. I only needed feet and five blind. Feet single and average and five blind single. That's all I was missing. So at the 2018 came around, and the first competition of the year I went to was Odd Cubing Day 2018. Now this event had feet and five blind, so I could have gotten Silver Club then and there if things went right. Now I was easily able to make feet cutoff and get a full average because feet was recently changed to average from mean at the beginning of this year, 2018. So I got a full feet average and it was pretty good. I got second place with that average. And for five blind though, five blind I couldn't quite get a success. I was really close. I was only 3 wings off, and the only reason why I didn't get a success was because I forgot to execute 2 of my letters in my wing memo, so it was off by a 3 cycle on wings. And this really discouraged me because I could have easily gotten a success, but I didn't. And throughout the next few competitions, I keep getting DNFs, so I kept on pushing through, and it was really discouraging getting those DNFs. But I didn't give up. I kept on pushing on. I didn't give up. I learned from my mistakes, and in the end, I got a success just a couple of weeks ago. But let me describe how I got to getting a success. So, after that 5 line DNF cubing day, it was a 51 minute DNF, by the way. I didn't really practice much 5 line since I didn't practice much 5 line after odd cubing day. My next competition was spring forward, didn't have 5 line. But then at Southern Champs, I had a good chance to get a 5 line success. There was 3 attempts, and each of them had an hour, so I could go really slowly, take up to an hour, and still have 3 attempts. And I used all 3 attempts, but then all of them were DNFs. One of them was really close though. One of them was off by just 3 wings, just like last time. And it was for the same reason. I forgot to execute 2 wing letters. And that made me more mad because that's the second time I'd made that mistake. I was really mad about it, and it was really discouraging. So I didn't practice 5 line for a while because I didn't know when my next 5 line attempt would be. But then soon after, DFW 2018 got announced, and that was my next competition. And that had every event, including 5 line. I didn't really practice 5 line much for this though. I was kind of discouraged after Southern Champs because I got 3 attempts, but none of them could be a success. I practiced 5 line a little bit before this, but not that much. I was still slow, still averaging around 50 minutes. And at DFW, I wasn't really that close. I did 1 attempt. It was off by quite a few pieces, so it wasn't really close. I didn't do that well. But anyway, my next competition after that was DFW Cubing Fiesta June 2018. So that also had 5 blind. And I did 5 blind, and I was so close to getting a success. I was off by just 2 twisted corners. And the reason why I was off by 2 twisted corners is not because there was a corner that was twisted that I just forgot to untwist. It's because when I was memoing corners, I memoed the wrong side of a single corner. I was supposed to memo DFR, but instead I memoed RFD. And it's because of that I was off by two twisted corners. And I realized soon after I took off the blindfold, that, oh crap, I memoed it wrong. And then I realized that. And then I realized that's why I'm off by two twisted corners. And that made me really angry. And I could have done my another five-line attempt then, but I was really demotivated after that DNF. I was so close, but I didn't quite make it, all because I memoed the wrong side of a single corner. So it would have been a 32-minute success, but it was a DNF, sadly. So then I had one more So my next competition after that was DFW Cuban Fiesta July 2018. This was a month ago. It didn't have five-line though, so I didn't have a chance to get it there. But after that, my next competition, and it's the last one I've been to, it was DFW Cuban Fiesta August 2018. So here, there was five-line. It had every event, and there was a time period specifically for five-line, and the cumulative limit was 70 minutes. But I'd been practicing five-line a lot over the summer. I went from averaging 50 minutes to averaging right around 23 minutes. Now, because I averaged right around 23 minutes, I had the chance to fit in 3 whole attempts and still get within the cumulative limit. So I was really hoping for success here, because if I didn't get it here, I didn't know when I would get it. So I practiced quite a bit of big blind, 4 and 5 blind. I did many attempts, but the thing was, I never even had a success at home before the day of the comp. So I kept on trying. I couldn't even get a success at home. I wasn't thinking that it wasn't looking too great. I wasn't thinking I was going to get a success officially when I didn't even have one at home. But I decided I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try to get a success. I failed too many times to give up. I'm going to get it. I'm going to learn from my mistakes and not make any silly, dumb mistakes. So the day of the competition came around. And the morning of the day, this was a 2-day competition. Five line was on the first day, and it was on August 11th. So a couple hours before I went to the competition, I decided to do a 5-line attempt, and just to warm up so I'd be ready for the competition. Now the thing was, I decided to record my attempt, because up until then I never recorded my attempts, so I couldn't see why I messed up. But then this time, if I recorded my attempt, I'd be able to see why I actually messed up and made a mistake. Well, the funny thing is, when I started recording my solves, I don't make any mistakes. And the first time I ever recorded my 5-line solve, actually second time ever I recorded my 5-line solve. First time was on a live stream, but it was DNF. Second time ever, and it was with my camera and not my webcam, I actually got a success, and that was my first ever success. And I was happy about that because it was a 21-minute 30 success, and that was faster than my official 4-blind PB. So I got that the morning of the competition, right before I competed in 5-line officially. And that was looking great. I got a success. I just got to do this officially now. So I went to the competition, and the first thing was 5-line. I did my first attempt in 5-line. I was really nervous though. I wanted the success so badly. So I did my first attempt of 5-line, and I gave up in the middle of memo. I was doing pretty badly on that solve, and I didn't want to spend more time on it when it wasn't going to be good anyway, and it wasn't going to be a success most likely. So I decided to give up in the middle of memo, and I used 7 minutes. So I still had a little over an hour. I could spend 30 minutes on each attempt and still be fine. So I decided to give up on memo on first solve. I was so nervous, it was hard to concentrate. But after my first attempt, this computer, it was locked out because the scramblers weren't able to scramble because they got locked out of the computer for a little while. So that gave me some time to just calm down and make myself feel less nervous. And I think that made a big difference, because on my second attempt, I was a lot more calm. I was able to concentrate a lot more. I made sure not to make any dumb mistakes. I made sure to go memo slowly, but not too slowly. So I memoed just the right amount so I'd remember it perfectly, but not over-memorize. So I memoed my cube. I executed slowly, not too slowly though. So I did make memo in my execution. And on my DFW Cuban Fiesta comp video, you can see the ending of it. I had gotten a success. I had made sure not to mess up anywhere and not to go too slowly, because then I'd be more likely to mess up. So when I did that, I recorded my attempt because I want to see where I mess up, if I mess up. But then I don't mess up. And I got a success. I was so happy about that. You could tell from my reaction in the comp video that I made. I was so happy about that. And it had finally landed me in the Every Event Completion Club. And I am the 135th person to ever do that, and the first person ever from Texas to do so. And this is the journey of how I went from my first competition to completing every event. I had lots of failures in big blinds, especially 5 blind. Those numerous failures, they were pretty discouraging. I was so close several times, but I kept persevering. I didn't give up. I learned from my mistakes, and eventually it paid off because I finally got a 5 blind success just a week and a half ago. And that's where we are today. It's been 3 years since competing. I'm now in the Every Event Club, and I look forward to the future. I wonder what else I'll be able to do in the future. Maybe I'll get better at summer ranks. Maybe I'll get better at certain events, I don't know, big cubes. And I'm really interested in big blind now. I'll try to get better at that. So anyway, that's the story of how I reached Every Event Completion Club, and the story of how I've gotten here in the last 3 years. Thank you for listening to this really long video, guys, and bye, guys.